So you are welcome. To our Baba, sorry, we are to gather my entourage. That's our Professor Wole Abbas. Sitting down together our second time, I will remind you of the first one. And it happened in Ibadan, Islamic Center. We were together with Professor Wole Abbas and all some other persons there, where we were trying to establish this area. Then our then Islamic Center of Islam were some Muslim area. I think you can remember. Yes, that was our first meeting. So it's a pleasure to meet you. Good morning. Then to our empress scholar, what have been feeding us in the west of Allah and that of his prophet, Professor Hakim Akane. You are welcome. I have a lot of persons that I need to talk about. You are not knowing me who you are, but I'm known to so many persons. You have one of my friends here, Elijah Zakaria. Elijah Zakaria is my friend. And Ajia is here, I recognize you. Because the king was equally, at the time, additional director to this zone. And most of other brothers and sisters, eminent brothers and sisters, please permit me to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Allah for these local days, the days of Ramadan. We pray that we grant us all the blessings we are in. We are here today to discuss something that is very paramount and that is very genuine, globally, to our religion. And that's one of Allah gave us Islam as the solution to the world's problem. Allah entrusted the goodness of this world to this people. That they are not due to any other religious adherence. This noble responsibility was given to the Ummah of Islam. If that is like that, why are we feeling the world? Why are we not feeling who is supposed to believe? Why is it that now find ourselves where we are today? God is put on us to believe that we are the one instruments of the world, whether locally or internationally. Where are we at this point? I think these are the questions. These are some of the thought-provoking issues that we need to be looking at. But one thing that has been disturbing me for some days now, or for some time now, is the fact that despite that we are having challenges from outside, within the Muslims ourselves, we are having issues. Within the Muslims, whether you take it locally or internationally. Let us go international before we come back home. Saddam Hussein is no more alive today. Gaddafi was equally killed. So also some all other people. If you look at the end of all these people, there were internal collaborators. They were not on their own, but they are tribesmen, they are religious people, their own brothers that lead them out. Why is it always very easy for Muslims to give themselves out? The same thing is about to happen in Iran as we speak. For some time now, riots have been going on, and the source of those riots are from outside. Why is it that Muslims are always at home, are very, we are so comfortable to betray our home? If we don't know, if Iran people think that something better will come to them, why are they not learning from the experience of Saddam Hussein? Why are they not learning from the experience of Gaddafi and the rest of people like that? Then we come back home today. We are equally working against ourselves. As far as Nigeria is concerned today, the issue of security sits on us. We are the one that fingers are being pointed at. But today we see Muslims, people among themselves, instead of having very soon conversations, what they labeling one another. Why is it like that? I hope that the lecturer today will put us through at the right conversion we're supposed to be having. Some of these problems we are having will be in the past. How do we come out of what is not out that is being put on us? And some of us are equally saying that yes, we are responsible. As if there are no bad elements, there are no bad things in other regions in the world. How can we come out of this? I'm sure our good scholars today that have invited to put us through this lecture expose us to some of these issues and the solutions that will take us out of this main point. Today it is a problem, even you try to deal with. If there's mark of solar on you, you are in trouble. If you are electric there, you are in trouble. If you put car, you are in trouble. How do we get out of this? So I pray that Allah will direct the tongue of our lecturer. Allah will direct the hearings of this word that we see in the lecture and will make it beneficial to all of us. Once again, I greet us from Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At-takbir. Jazakumullah. Let's say Jazakumullah to our chairman.
Yeah, we appreciate our chairman for the thought-provoking address. We are told that the number 3 man in our state will want to take his lead. But before he leaves us, we want him to say one or two things. He's one of us. Like the chairman said, he's an amiable person. I remember, some of us, we are not as gentle as he is. When his appointment was announced, somebody asked me, what kind of Muslim is he? He said, he's someone we can vote for. Though it's not our own type. It's not the Alakatakiti type. But it's somebody that, when the chiefs are down, we can vote for him. And he has always been a very good brother to many of us. It's not every political office holder that you will call and they will pick your call. I always tell people, if you call him and he doesn't pick, send a message, he will reply. You are the second person that I have found to be like that. The first is Professor Mohamed Kutayaya. As the SSD of Niger State, as the commissioner, anytime you call him, if he does not pick, they will call you back or will send a message. So, Professor Musba Babatunde, we want you to address the House before you take your leave.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi I want to adopt the address given by the chairman. After the chairman, there's nothing you want to add to today. Has given a very good perspective about the institution practice. And I recognize the presence of all our brothers today. Almighty Allah will continue to be good for us. When you talk about security concern, doesn't distinguish whether you are old or you are young. Doesn't distinguish whether you are a male or a female. Doesn't distinguish your time. Just comes in straight for you. But at the foundation of this, just like the chairman said, we keep referring to us as if you are the boss of this particular job. Until there was a mix-up between the US and Russia, and we know that it was America that created Al-Qaeda. And they would say, yes, it's Muslims that did it. That was when we know that it was some people that created ISI. This is the setup for that setup. So it's like, we are making something to make, like the scapegoats, which we are not. So, as much as possible, it is necessary the whole world know who are the people that are actually escaping this and who are the victims of this self-professional crisis. We pray that God Almighty Allah continue to give us peace in the global perspective, in the country and also in the rest of it. Because your state is peaceful, that's why we are all able to sit down here. There are some states that they dare not gather like this, for fear of maybe the bomb blast. So we will continue to pray for that particular device. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank Prof for his speech and for the benefit of everyone, of course, that for full disclosure, our Prof has dropped a handsome amount, which we are not going to announce, for the benefit of the community. Prof, thank you so much. Thank you for the cash, and thank you for the kind as well. We appreciate it. We'll permit him to take his leave now. Thank you for coming, sir. Now, before we move on, we'd like to appreciate some of our elders that are coming where the lecture is going on. The first person I would like to introduce is our father, the immediate past chairman, chief imam of this congregation, Professor Abdul Rahman. Thank you for coming. Takbir. He's already seated here. I would also like to call to this table an important person and elder in the Muslim community in the Southwest and in Nigeria as a whole. He's a retired professor of Arabic and Islamic studies. He's sitting right within us, within our midst there, but we want him to come to the table here. He's Professor Muhyiddin. Please come to the table, sir. Muhyiddin. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Now we have some of our leaders in the community in our midst, and we must recognize them. The first of them is a former Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic of this university, Professor Abidin Adelito. Please stand up for recognition. People must know that we have him in our midst. Takbir. Yeah, in our midst as well is another professor all the way from the College of Medicine. We joke with him. We call him Amolorila, just like they call all of us Olorila as well. You know, the moment you become a professor, you are not Olorila again. Your head has become big. Professor Fatai Adewale Paitola. Please stand up for recognition, sir. Takbir. And as we are trying to introduce them, our leader in the community are strolling. I know that something must have kept him from coming on time. He's always punctual. He's a emeritus professor, Musliuddin Onilude. We try to be gender balanced here. And our chairman has. And we also want to hear one or two things from our mother, the chairperson of the day. I'm talking of Dr. Linda Mola Zulfa Adeyemi, who is a distinguished medical professional, a visionary leader, a woman whose life beautifully reflects dedicated service to humanity and steadfast devotion to Allah. She is the immediate past president of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria, Oyo State Chapter, where she provided exemplary leadership and championed the advancement of women in medicine across the nation. She also served meritoriously as the Chief Medical Director of TZ Hospital, from which she is now honorably retired, leaving behind a legacy of excellence compassion, and transformative healthcare leadership. In a university environment where young minds are nurtured and future leaders shaped, our journey stands as a powerful inspiration. She embodies the truth that faith and professional excellence are not separate paths, but harmonious partners in purpose. As we gather in this blessed month of Ramadan, which is a month of reflection, discipline, and renewal, we are deeply privileged to have such a remarkable leader and role model in our midst. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our esteemed chairperson, Dr. Oyedamola Zulfa Adeyemi. Takbir.
I did tell the organizer that I wanted to make my speech after the lecture because I wanted to know what the audio of the lecture would be so that I can comment. But however, if you think I should have my comments now or my speech, I would have to. Before I make my speech, I would want to recognize my father, Professor Noidi Mi Koruko, so I'm very proud to be here on the same table with him. All the other distinguished members of the high table and my dear sister here, I'm very pleased to be here with you and my colleagues and sisters and brothers on the lower table. It is a pleasure to be here for this Ramadan lecture. And I'm really looking forward to this lecture because the chairman of this occasion has given us an insight of what we would have. But without listening to the lecture, but my own take to this topic, which I want to listen to, is whatever the lecture is going to be, our role as mothers in the house is very important. We are the ministers of the home. When the men have to do all these political meetings, going to work and things, we are at home with the children. And whatever is going to happen is in the hands of Allah, given to us to manage. So I think the most important thing is to recognize our importance, to make sure that we're holding the family together. Whatever we breed is what the society will get. So it is very, very important that we take that home seriously. And I mean seriously. How many of us as Muslims are here this morning can vouch that they are following the children, following the Islamic conjunctions and training? Most of us just drop the children in Ibadan. What they get from there, nobody knows, nobody follows up. And it is important, because if you don't follow up, the children will be having different and funny ideas. We all know that sometimes there could be thwarted ideas into the minds of these young ones. So it is important for we as mothers to know what the children are absorbing as ideas and information. And at this stage, it is also important for us to know, as mothers, not to let the children have the iPad and have total access to the social media. It pollutes their minds. Because sometimes you wonder, but they've hidden their iPads under their pillows. And they're sleeping with the iPads throughout the night, having all kinds of ideas in their minds that they themselves cannot even, churn it. So it's very, very important for us as mothers to take our roles as mothers and be very close to the children. make sure that the children have the right Islamic values, not just being reciters of the Quran, Hafiz. No, there's more to it than that. We have to check their ideas. We have to check the kind of people they move with. Sometimes these children leave home and they're having different companions at school. So it is important for us when we pick them at school to watch the kind of friends they're moving with. Sometimes some children are born with Christians and you don't know. It's only a few weeks before their wedding they will tell you, oh sorry, this is the person I want to marry. Then you start fighting. It's too late, you've lost it. So, not to take too much of your time, I want us as women to take our roles in the house as important as possible. May Allah continue to guide us and give us the strength to be worthful mothers that will be able to enjoy the benefits in Allah, inshallah.
Ameen. Jazakumullah khairan. At-takbir. We appreciate your that's a good one from her. The second time of listening to us. One was informal conversation here, making some arguments towards improving the affairs of the community. Some weeks ago, or 2 months ago here, I got back here, I can't remember. So, and you can see the rich conversation here. Common goodness, man. In that regard, all of us, and make us actually adhere to the advice. So, I'd like to recognize one of our mothers here, the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship of our university, Professor Abuwaba, of the Department of Chemistry of this great university. Where she is? Professor Abuwaba. Hello, my name is Salah.
Auntie Emma Mohan, please come to the front.
All right, I also like to recognize one of our elders here. That is Dr. Dawda Musa, the Department of Physiology. I mean, he doesn't like to recognize it, but I'm not anyway. And just one quite interesting come to the forums. I mean, you see him in almost every program of the community, but he just come quietly and he likes that lifestyle. So, Dr. Musa, you're welcome to this program. Can you all stand for recognition? So, when you see him sit the situation, he likes it. He likes it. Dr. Musa, can you stand for recognition? Thank you. Now, how do that? So, we are here straight to the business of the day and to listen to the topic between scapegoatism and responsibility, Muslim roles in and Islam's response to security concerns in Nigeria. By no other person than Professor Akim Akali, the chief imam of Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe. Before then, we would like to have the citation of the guest lecturer, which is going to be done by Alada Maya Zakaria. That's our auditor in the university.
Sorry, I'm not the auditor. I'm the treasurer of the Muslim community. I guess that's what I like most. Actually, I was commissioned to come and do this, but I'll try my best. What I like most is counting money. I'm the treasurer of the university as well as the treasurer of the Muslim community. So this is, permit me to request the guest lecturer. He's my father from also Ogun State. I'm also Abeokuta. proud to be our Chief Imam of Olorisi Onabanjo, please rise up for the citation. A brief profile. Professor Akim Adebayo Adisa was born to the family of Alani Muslim Akoni of the Gosi compound, Ogu Kingdom, Abeokuta. He attended St. John Roman Catholic Mission Primary School, Lafenwa, Abeokuta, for his elementary education, and Unity High School, Agoga, Abeokuta, for his secondary education. He acquired Islamic education from the neighborhood before attending Sulaika Abiola, the School of Arabic and Islamic Studies, Abeokuta, popularly known as Marcus, and Sulaika Abiola College of Arabic and Islamic Studies, an affiliate of Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, where he obtained he obtained his diploma in Arabic and Islamic Studies in 1989. In 1988, sorry. He later proceeded to the University of Ilorin for his first degree and master's degree in Islamic Studies in 1992 and 1997, respectively. He also holds a PhD in Islamic Studies and a master's degree in public administration. After completing his national service scheme at the then Ondo State College of Education in Karachi, he picked up appointment with the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission and part-time teaching at his alma mater, Laika Abiola College of Arabic and Islamic Studies, Abeokuta. He later joined the services of the then Ogun State University, now Olamisi Onabanjo University, at Boywood in 1996. He rose through the ranks and position to the position of the HOD, the head of department, to the position of Professor of Islamic Studies. He has held various positions of responsibilities, including those of head of Department of Religious Studies and Subdean, postgraduate at Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe, Nigeria. He has to his credit scores of articles in reputable national and international journals. Sorry for that. He has to his credit scores of articles in reputable national and international journals. He has also contributed a number of chapters to reputable books on Islam, on religion. Additionally, he is editor of Religion, Peace, and Development in Nigeria, 2014. A manuscript in honor of late Professor E. Ade Odumuyiwa, and a co-editor of Islam's response to quest for peace, orderliness, and well-being in Nigeria. A manuscript in honor of Professor Kamaldeen Balogun, 2020. He is also the author of Islamic Fundamentals in the Modern World, published by Darul Kutub al-Ilm, Beirut, Lebanon in 2019. His recent edited works are a series of books on Islamic jurisprudence of art and of worship, 2026. Professor Akoni's research interest as sociology of religion and interrelatedness between religion and science, with a particular reference to Islam. He has served as external examiners to a number of institutions, amongst which are University of Ibadan, University of Ilorin, Christian University Abeokuta, Oxford University in Namibia. Has also served as a member of accreditation team for National University Commission (NUC). He is the chief imam Olabisi, Olabanjo University, Ogun State, Nigeria. We say, Allah Wasala, you're welcome. We are lucky to pass for you.
Okay, you still have the opportunity of talking about political situation in Nigeria. So for me, it is better we address security concern of the Nigerian situation. And that actually accounts for why I have chosen to speak about the twin scapegoatism responsibility, Muslims' roles in and Islam's response to security concern in Nigeria. Slide 2, please. The idea of scapegoatism captures what we have, the debate in the political arena or the media representation of Muslims, which portray Islam as well as Muslims as the primary drivers of Nigerian insecurity. Of recent, we are all aware that Muslims in Nigeria were accused of killing the Christians. How true is this? Especially with regards to the fact that Muslims are given the responsibility of maintaining peace in the society. If those that are given the responsibility of ensuring peace and orderliness in the society are the one being accused of now perpetuating this insecurity, then how do we explain this? The idea of scapegoatism refers to the process by which complex social problems are simplistically attributed to a particular group, thereby absorbing structural and institutional failures of security. In other words, scapegoating occurs when a group is unfairly blamed for problems that arise from broader systemic situations. What we are trying to say here is that the problem of Nigeria goes beyond just narrowing it down to one problem. The security problem in Nigeria. There are so many of them. But to now just pin it down to just the Muslims or Islam, then we are already scapegoating the Muslims. In the context of insecurity in Nigeria, this will mean portraying Nigerian Muslims as the root cause of violence, even when empirical evidence shows that insecurity is complex and multicultural. So we are going to be finding out in this lecture whether Muslims are truly the cause of insecurity in Nigeria, or they are just making scapegoats of Muslims. And we are going to be situating that in relation to the fact that Islam and the Quran imposes the responsibility of maintaining peace in the society of Muslims. To do this, we need to look at this, how insecurity is framed, what the data show, and how public narratives either exaggerate or misinterpret the role of Islam, the role of insecurity in Nigeria. The purpose of the study is to deconstruct false generalization that equate Islam with violence, encourage responsible Muslim self-critique without capitulating into Islamophobia, and contribute meaningfully to academic scholarship, policy dialogue, and interfaith understanding on security. We will therefore be adopting a middle ground framework between scapegoatism and responsibility to examine the Muslims' roles in Nigeria's security landscape and the normative response of Islam to violence and disorder. The first thing we will be doing is to look at the nature and the form as well as the dynamics of insecurity in Nigeria. In other words, what are the dimensions that insecurity in Nigeria take? Number one, we have insurgency, we have banditry, kidnapping, communal and ethnic conflicts. A report by NISA, Nigerian Institute of Socio-Economic Research, indicates that of all security challenges that we have in Nigeria, 21.2% of them can be narrowed down to kidnapping. As much as we were shouting, hey, someone was kidnapped in Niger State, or 20 people are there, the challenges of security in Nigeria can only be narrowed down to 21% with regards to kidnapping. And it's as if the entire country, the entire people in Nigeria have already been kidnapped. There are other problems. These are statistics submitted by institutes, official reports. We have robbery accounting for 20.3%. Farmer headers conflict take 13.4%. Gunmen attacks 12.3%. Banditry 11.8%. And apart from all of these, there are other violent clashes and ethnic conflicts. When we look at the regional setup of the Nigerian nation, we have 6 geopolitical zones. And each of these zones has its own security problem. What we experience in the southwest is different from what they are experiencing in the south-south. The security concern in the northwest is different from the security concern in the northeast. And we take a look at that. In the northeastern region of Nigeria, talking about Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states and the like, the major security concerns there are insecurity, insurgency, and terrorism. This is where we have Boko Haram and Islam very active. They are bombing almost on a daily basis. They will attack mosques. That is different from what you have in the northeast. This is where they kill those who are rearing their cattle and take away the cattle. We also have hand raids and banditry. In the north central region of the country, the security challenge there concerns farmer herders. This is where the herders, the pastoralists, will attack the farmers in their farms. We also have ethno-religious clashes. We also have kidnapping. Go to the south-south. The problem there is militancy. In the southeast, it's about agitation for Biafra. Down south here, southwest here, we also have our own security concern. And this has to do with cultism and kidnapping along the highways. So when you look at the regions, the 6 regions, the security challenges, differ from one region to another. And we have statistics to back up some of these things. Initially, I thought of coming up with figures of how many people have been kidnapped here and there, how many herders, farmers, clashes did we have, and all of that. But later I felt, do we need to establish all of this? It is something every one of us know that we also hear on daily basis. But now, notwithstanding, I still have some data here. In Zamfara, Katsina, and Kaduna states, we have hundreds of abduction events recorded, especially between 2023 and 2025. And there are about 290 incidents recorded in 2024 alone. Between 2020 and 2024, we have it on records that more than 11,000 people were abducted nationwide, largely due to banditry and criminal networks. And what do we find? We find out that these people exploit weak state presence and the lucrative ransom markets. And what do we mean by that? Once someone has been kidnapped, they will demand for money, and the family will have to gather around, look for money, and pay the bandit. So people, these people see a very lucrative business in doing this. But government seems not to be doing anything. And that is what we refer to as weak state presence. In the North Central, where we have farmer herders clashes, the reason is as a result of competition over scarce grazing land, water, and environmental pressure. And we realize that the animals are to be fed by their owners, and during dry season, there will be very little grass around for them, so they will have to look for alternative, not only for food for them, but also for water. And that is what is being referred to here as competition over scarce grazing land and water. In Benue State in 2005, at least 42 villagers were killed in a series of area-related attacks across multiple communities. These are the challenges that we have. So we then go further in this paper to look at what are the reasons behind these various security challenges that we have across regions in Nigeria. And we are able to identify four. One, there is poverty and unemployment in the land. There is what? Poverty and unemployment in the land. There are 1,001 youths who just graduated and they do not have jobs. And there are also several others that do not have the opportunity of acquiring education. We also have proliferation of small arms. You can see arms coming into the country due to the porosity of our borders. Then we have land disputes as well as environmental change. Then we go to the main issue of our sitting down here. Why are Muslims being scapegoated? Why are they seeing Muslims as the one perpetuating insecurity in Nigeria? So we want to examine the roles of Muslims. And you can see it's a variable in our topic. What are the roles of Muslims in Nigeria's security landscape? We examine that and we identify a number of ways that which Muslims can be said to be contributing to the security problem of the country. Number one issue that we identify is the problem of the Boko Haram and Islam. We will say that these people are not Muslims by virtue of their activities. But one fact that we cannot deny is that the membership and leadership of these groups are overwhelmingly Muslims, even though what they do not comply with the position of Islam. And you see that their ideologies, their goals are derived from an extremist interpretation of Islam. It is their own understanding of Islam that they are perpetuating. And again, you also see that they recruit likely from the Muslim community in northern Nigeria. And they also operate primarily in majority Muslim countries. Even though what they are doing do not comply, their activities do not comply with the teachings of Islam, yet you cannot deny the fact that they are Muslims. Apart from the Boko Haram, we also have the Islamic movement of Nigeria, which is a small minority of about 5% of the Muslim population in Nigeria. They are Shiites, and they have had confrontations with security. As small as they are, nobody can deny that IML, the Islamic movement of Nigeria, are Muslims. They are the small minority of Muslims in Nigeria, but they have engaged security agencies in Nigeria in major conflicts. By that, by their activities, they are also contributing to the way the general public see Muslims as contributing or as perpetrators of insecurity in Nigeria. We also have bandits and Fulani associated, and most of the Fulanis are predominantly Muslims. So whatever activities they do, people will see it as being done by Muslims. Banditry and kidnapping in northwestern Nigeria are often associated with them. But it is not that Islam encourages them or teaches them to do that. The motivation is primarily economical. They want to make money from this kidnapping that they are doing. These crimes represent not Islamic conduct, but moral collapse, facilitated by good governance, poverty, and arms proliferation. Since they have easy access to arms and they have no job, they will also further exploit the avenue of kidnapping and all what have you. Then another problem that we have that will make people see Muslims as the perpetrators of insecurity in Nigeria is the fact that the former other classes stem from resource competition, climate stress, and state failure, but not from Islamic injunctions. The motivations are ecological and economic. Land, grazing routes, and all what have you. These farmers and herders, most of the herders are Muslims, and they attack the herders, the farmers. People see them as Muslims, and their activities contravene and contradicts what Islam teaches. It is not about what Islam teaches that they are doing, but it is about their economic gain. But those who are doing this are also Muslims. So the likelihood of people seeing them as the perpetrators of insecurity, are seeing Muslims as the perpetrators of insecurity in Nigeria is very high. Then we come to the big one, and that is the booming factor in the Nigerian security architecture in Nigeria. Abubakar Gomez, we all know him for his position, and I have identified 5 great positions that he has taken on security matters in Nigeria. Number 1, he has challenged government that government must dialogue and negotiate with bandits rather than rely solely on military solution. It's similar to you pleading with the child that is recalcitrant. It's like you are encouraging that child to continue in his bad way. That is the way people have seen what Gumi is agitating for in Nigeria. So Gumi is saying government should no longer fight or use military solution to address the problem of banditry and what have you. And for that, don't forget he's a prominent Islamic scholar in the country. So people who see these are the Muslims, they are the one perpetuating insecurity in Nigeria. Number two position of Gumi is that government must address social neglect, that these people do not have jobs and they lack education. Instead of killing them, why not absorb them into the society? Why not educate them rather than fight them? And when you do that, you will encourage the fighters to surrender and you will integrate them into the society. People see this action of Gumi as that of somebody supporting insecurity in the country. And don't forget that indeed, Gumi is a prominent Islamic leader in the country. Gumi has also said that government should engage directly with bandits, or he himself has engaged directly with bandits, both in rural area and in the forest. And when he does this, he goes to visit them with government officials and security operatives. Then people will wonder, why can government not arrest Gumi? Why would government also still allow security operatives to accompany him to visit bandits in the forest? Gumi has also taken the stand that Nigerian government should suspend the military cooperation with the United States, particularly regarding U.S. airstrikes against terrorist groups. Not too long ago, America said she was coming to assist Nigeria to address our security challenges. And people said it should not come. But when it came, they attacked the bandits. But Gumi is against that position. Don't worry. Gumi is against that position. So for Gumi to have stood up against that, people are now saying that, yeah, as a prominent Islamic leader, he is supporting insecurity in Nigeria, and that Muslims are the perpetrators. Gumi also stands for external, in his position to say that if we need any external help at all, Nigeria should engage partners like Pakistan and Turkey, who have different approaches to combating internal threats, rather than the military approach of the American nation. So when we look at all of this, everybody believes that Gumi, as a great Islamic leader in Nigeria, is supporting terrorism and insecurity in Nigeria. I go to Muslims as victims of insecurity in Nigeria. Despite all that the Muslims are being identified as country in Nigeria, are we not also victims? Muslims are overwhelmingly victims of much of the violence in Nigeria because these conflicts are geographically concentrated in Muslim majority regions. When you talk of banditry, it is enough. When you talk of mass killing, kidnapping, all of this happen in the north. So Muslims are not just perpetrators, but major casualty groups in Nigerian violence. Consequently, contrary to popular narratives, Muslims constitute the largest group of victims of insecurity in Nigeria. So it is wrong to say that Muslims are the major perpetrators of insecurity in Nigeria. So what have Muslims also done? Muslims in Nigeria, what have they done to support security concerns, improve security concerns in Nigeria? We have identified the case of Imam Abu Bakr, who protected Christians in Bakinladi local government area of Plateau State in 2019. Imam Abu Bakr and the protection of Christians' lives in Bakinladi local government area. There are 260 of them who sought asylum in his house and in his mosque, and he protected them. He refused to hand them over to the assailants, and his intervention actually prevented what will have been referred to as mass killing and ensured the safety of those shelters until the condition improved. Now, what is the position of Islam? That is the second leg of our lecture. Having identified the roles of Muslims, both negatively and positively, we now want to see what Islam is saying about ensuring security in any society, and for this reason in Nigeria. Number one, we identify collective reform as one major way by which Islam wants us to, as Muslims, to ensure security in our society. The Quran says, La ala yugayiru ma bi qawmin hatta yugayiru ma bi anfusihim. And that does not change the condition of the people until they change what is within themselves. As Muslims, we have responsibility to ensure the security of our community. Then the Quran says, all of you are shepherd. That is the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. And all of you will be questioned about your flock. Then we have another hadith, another verse of the Holy Quran. The Quran says, you Muslims are the best community of people raised as an example for mankind. You enjoy what is right and you forbid what is wrong. All these verses are meant to say that ensuring the security of our community is the responsibility of all of us, whether we are concerned or affected. So, as Muslims, we have the responsibility of being good examples to people. And how do we do this? We have to, like our mother said the other time, we have to follow and ensure our children are well raised, so that they are not easily recruited by the groups that are fomenting trouble in our today. Another way by which Islam has responded to security concerns in Nigeria is by recognizing the sanctity of human life. The Quran says, Man qatala nafsan bighayri nafsin aw fasadin fil ard fa'annama qatala an-nasa jami'an wa man ahya'a fa'annama ahya'a an-nasa jami'an. The Quran recognizes the sanctity of life. So whichever group that is coming up with whatever name or whatever goal, taking people's life, Islam is not in support of it. And that is one way by which Islam has responded to security concerns in Nigeria. So it will be very wrong to say that Islam encourages its adherents to kill people, or that Muslims are the ones killing people. Even though we have records of the minority doing that, it is not in any way encouraged by Islam. So number three, there is direct prohibition of kidnapping in the textual sources of Islam, both in the Quran and in the Hadith. In the Quran, Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la ta'kulu amwalakum baynakum all you who believe, do not consume your own wealth upon yourself in an unjust manner. When you kidnap somebody and you ask them to bring 100 million, you are consuming that money in an unjust manner, which has been condemned in the Holy Quran. And this Buddhism, there is this hadith from the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and the Prophet said, قال الله تعالى, the Prophet said, let me go straight to the one that is very well. 3 people. The Prophet said, Allah said, he will be the opponent of 3 people on the day of resurrection. The first of those people is the one who makes the covenant in Allah's name, but he betrays it. Allah will do this for you, don't worry. And he betrays it. Allah said he will be against that person on the day of judgment. The second person, and that is what is relevant to our discussion here, a man who kidnaps someone, sells him, and consumes the money he collects. Allah says he will be against him on the day of judgment. Look at the time, far back then, when the Holy Prophet Muhammad made this statement. Nobody knew that the issue of kidnapping would happen in Nigeria. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad had condemned that in addition to Buddhism since that time. Maybe for the benefit of those that are listening, the third one is somebody who hires a worker and takes full work from him but does not give him his wages. When you hire somebody, the person works for you and you refuse to pay him. Allah says he will be against you on the day of judgment. The fourth of the 7 ways by which Islam has responded to insecurity concern in Nigeria is that Islam condemns bloodshed in the name of whatever. Killing people for whatever reason. Allah says and Islam says no to it. The hadith of the Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the disappearance of the world before Allah than the unlawful killing of a believer. In another hadith, the Prophet said, and a Muslim, one said, no, the Muslim, one of the Israeli, and the Yadi. Meaning, a Muslim is the one from whose tongue and hand other Muslims are saved. These relate to the kidnappers or the bandits or insurgents who don't care whether they are bombing the mosque, whether the people there are Muslims or not. For as long as they want to make their money, they will kidnap whoever. Number 5, Islam condemns religious extremism, either for religious reasons or what have you. The Quran says, Ya ahal al-kitab la taqulu fi dinikum. O you people of the book, do not commit excesses in your religion. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad reiterates that when he says, Ya kubal fi din. Beware of extremism in your religion, for those before you are destroyed because of extremism. So the ISWAP and the Boko Haram people who are agitating for ideological change in the practice of religion in Nigeria are condemned in this verse. I have some other verses like that. One says, وَلَوْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ لَجَعَلَ النَّاسَ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً وَلَا يَزَالُونَ مُخْتَلِفِينَ. The Quran says, if Allah had wished, He would have made the entire human race one community, so that we will not have differences either in terms of religion or in terms of ethnicity and what have you. So those that are agitating that they want Sharia in Nigeria, that Nigeria should be governed by Sharia, talking about ISWAP or Boko Haram, the Quran is already admitting that it is one of the beautiful ways Allah has created the world, so that people will be in different ethnic groups as well as in different religions. Number 6. Islam condemns public disorder. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا. That is what the Quran says. Do not cause corruption on the service of the art after it has been set alight. Those people who go around, plunder, set people and set villages ablaze, kill people, they are spreading public disorder, which is condemned in the Holy Quran. And finally, Islam also prioritizes reconciliation, peace building, and dialogue over retaliation. Some of the attacks, some of the challenges, security challenges we have had in this country are reprisal attacks on communities. The people who attack you, they want to attack them back. Islam is encouraging sulhu. Sulhu khairun. That is what the Quran says in Surah An-Nisa, Quran chapter 4, verse 128. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad the day says, shall I not inform you of something better than fasting, prayer, and charity? And when people asked, the Holy Prophet Muhammad said, reconciling between people. So, for as long as people want reconciliation, Islam encourages it. Any Muslim involvement in insecurity constitutes a criteria of Islamic identity, not its fulfillment. Therefore, acts that destabilize society like terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and communal violence are categorically prohibited in Islam. Conclusion. This study set out to integrate Nigeria's security crisis. And we have situated that between syncretism and responsibility. By syncretism, we are saying that they are putting the blame of insecurity in Nigeria on Nigerian Muslims, regardless of whether it is committed by a minority of the Muslims. By responsibility, we mean that what role do Nigerian Muslims play in this? And the analysis has shown, the next slide please, analysis has shown that some Muslim individuals and groups, those statistically in minority, have been involved in violence, banditry, and criminal enterprise. But conclusively, last slide, this study has demonstrated that Islam is not a source of insecurity, but a resource for security reform. Islam provides a comprehensive ethical framework for peace, justice, and public security. Quranic injunctions on the sanctity of life, justice, peace, and restraint, as well as social responsibility, prophetic teachings condemning extremism, vigilantism, and arms to civilians, as well as the compulsory Sharia's prioritization of life, dignity, and public order, all collectively provide the responsible framework for addressing violence. When properly articulated and contextualized, these principles align with constitutional governance, human rights norms, and contemporary peace building strategy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
At-Takbir. Ẹni ká sọ ìṣàkóso náà fẹ́ra fún ọ̀gá wa. And the chief imam of that institute of Banjo University, where we pray about to preserve him upon goodness, upon abundantly, and for listening as well. We pray that to the world, all of us. That's what our
And once again, we want to thank our Father for the delivery. While we were talking, I was discussing with my partner and we were saying, professors will always be professors. And I said, we are inside the University of Ibadan. So it is expected presentations will always be academic in format. Thank you so much for the presentation. Now we'll move to question and answers. But before we do that, I'd like to recognize some of our sons and daughters that were elected to this program and they graciously honored our invitation. Only ẹ̀sìn téèyàn bá ń ṣe téèyàn bá fi hàn ọmọ ẹ̀ ó máa parẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ ìrìn. I don't know how to translate that in English, but you can do that on my behalf. So I'd like to appreciate the following schools. Wherever they are, please let them stand up and wave at the congregation. The International School, University of Ibadan. Are they here? Please stand up for recognition. We learned that they are having another program in school, but the principal promised us that they will be here today. Ashifa Ufohad College. Are they here? Stand up for recognition. Please wave at us. Let us know if you are here. Yeah. Labir Lateran College, Orogun. Lateran College, Orogun. Please stand up for recognition. Labir. Then we have Ikramullah Academy, Orogun. Ikramullah, are you here? Please stand up. Let us see you. Yeah, Labir. Salim, when did you become a secondary school student? I don't know how this will give you a problem or university. Alur College, Agu, please stand up for recognition. Alur. Are they here? Alfredos College, Agu. Are they here? Yeah, Dabir. You are so much welcome. Al-Ayu Group of Schools. Al-Ayu Group of Schools. Are they here? Okay, we thank you all for coming. Now, now we can move to the question and answer session. I think we should start from the high table here. If we have anybody who has a question for our guest lecturer. Okay, we already have a question here. The secretary, are you organized the program? You want that question? You have a question? You have it. You have a question? Okay. Please, Mama, you already said that. Is it a question or a comment? Which one is it, Mama? Both. Both. Okay, let's start from here. Now, this other side, no afterthought. No afterthought. I'm a very strict lecturer, so I don't tolerate any afterthought. Make up your mind. Should I give you some time to be making up your mind? Make up your mind. As soon as I finish with this side, I'm coming to your side. So make up your mind. No matter I will point to this side. If you don't have anybody, I will move. And those who are afraid to talk can write. So let's start with Mama. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Very much, sir, for the lecture. Listen to this lecture. My question would be that you said there will be solutions. I didn't see us having solutions way forward to this problem. But just like you said, comments. I think one of you as Muslims on social media is that when we see them talking about things like this, Fulani are kidnapping, don't share it. Don't share it, because the media are there to make us believe what they want us to believe. The best thing we can do is don't share it. I think this is one of the ways, but I will leave the rest to my lecturer, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, our secretary has a question.
recent years, I observed that when elections are drawn nearer, we witness more of banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and all sorts of bad things. Sir, don't you think along the issue of politics in this insecurity in the country? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before we move to the other side, everybody. Yeah. While recognizing our sons and daughters that came to witness this occasion, I forgot to mention member schools, member group of schools. Are they here? You're welcome. I mustn't forget to mention you because it's a family business. No, the owner is my very good friend, so I must mention that. Yeah, now we move to this other side. Our guys are here, we should recognize them. Does he have a question? He has a question, okay. Okay, when you want to ask a question, I will recognize you appropriately. Now let us start from this side. This side, any question? From another side, yeah. You can write your question if you don't want to talk. Now, to this other side. Please give the microphone to Please tell us your name so that we can.
I'm Dr. Jarita Tabolegi from the Institute of Education and Culture. I just want to see if you can address the issue of insecurity in the West here. I think of recently, we are just hearing from the issues in the city and Kwara State spreading. Security has been relatively okay than the West here. But what are our Muslim organizations in the Southwest? What are we doing to create more awareness so people can be able to be well informed about the situation so that they can be able to stand up and defend themselves when people are accusing us Muslims as being part of this insecurity? That's what I just want to ask.
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. It's a pity that Professor Abbas has left. Because apart from the guest lecturer answering that, I would have loved the Executive Secretary of Muslim to also address it. Because it's a Southwest issue. Now, we move to this. That's after talk. That's when people were busy. If we have enough time, we'll come back to you. Opening then you will be like my children. At least let's allow her. I always bend my rules when it comes to it. Yes, I respect them. I respect them.
My question has been partially answered by Mama there. She said that as a Muslim, whenever we see a post regarding criticism, criminality, targeting Muslims and everything, that we shouldn't share it. Fine. And I'm also looking forward to more solution regarding this problem. Because I'm thinking that more often, whenever Muslims try to, now going back to what the other community said, whenever Muslims try to at least speak up, to let them know that this situation this is not what Islam preaches. More often, we see that your same comment or that your same action is being kind of altered, that it seems to bring up a negativity, even though we're trying to let them see the positive, that this is not Islam. But they are still saying it in a way that it's negative, they are supporting them. So I don't know how we can really stop that or prevent that. Thank you.
I want to believe that the guest lecturer has actually noted what you read. I think it's about head or tail. We are always asking for it. That's one thing. The second one is what Mama addressed. It's part of the ethics of journalism that you don't glorify violence. But these days, since people get this kind of, I don't want to use that word, it's a vulgar word. Whenever violence or anything, you see people sharing gory details of somebody is dead and you'll be there, taking the video and sharing. I don't know, some people are, it's psychiatric in nature. People are just sick. Yeah, this side, yeah, let me start with, we have a lot of professors here. Professor A.K. Let's start with Professor Aremu.
Thank you very much. Say, Google position on state of security in Nigeria. And another thing, does Islam really encourage or embrace that as a reaction to any situation to find ourselves as Muslims? So the question is this: does Islam in any way encourages or embraces criminality as a reaction to anything as Muslims?
Does Islam encourage criminality as a response?
As a reaction.
Yeah, the way, yeah, you said something about reprisal. Yeah, whatever come. Yeah, thank you, sir. Now, Professor Babari.
Let me especially greet the lecturer. That is from the university where I started my career. I sat there for about 14 years before I moved to the US. And I was also at the secretary and chairman of the Institute of Muslims. So my question is that how should we as Muslims respond to the usual style of targeted hatred against Muslims and the strategy of gaslighting Muslims, using the right and rule and so on? Sometimes targeting Muslims in the north, part of the west, and so on and so forth. When indeed the Muslims are the ones being discriminated against, or they are the ones whose rights are being suppressed, but yet they are the people who are being accused. How do we respond? We just keep quiet. Well, Muslim children are not allowed to use it out, where it is recognized as fundamental right. But when we raise that, they say that it's affecting fundamentalists and so on. And unfortunately, even amongst us, we seem to get the belief that maybe keeping quiet is the best solution. Under these circumstances, how do we respond?
Thank you, sir. I hope the question is well taken, sir. How do we react to the gaslighting and the persistent Islamophobia in our environment? Even when we want to demand for what is constitutionally ours, though you make you raise your voice that, no, we are being cheated. Then the next, they are started with their violence, so they are coming again, they are extremists. And even among us, we have Muslims that the moment you try to just step forward and no, but we are being cheated. It's your own fellow Muslims that will say, what we did, we are not like them. This divide and rule. It's not only the people on the other side that are ready to rush. Even within ourselves, we are willing to accept that divide and rule. So how do we react in such a situation? We want to react, but we don't want to react in such a way that at the end of the day, it will end up being locating us in a more negative form. Yes?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Mahmoud Abdul Salam. So I would like to greet the lecturer and people at the podium. My question goes to us. The lecturer made us to know that these so Islamic terrorist group, because Islam does not support any violence, these people, they operate under the agenda that Islam knows nothing about. So my question is now that is it not betrayal of our money or betrayal of trust? Since the government is trying to put them to insurgency, and because you made mention of something, sir, there might be room for reconciliation. Now, government giving room for reconciliation to the bandits, is it not a betrayal of trust? Since government's responsibility is to take care of protect citizens' life and property, sir. That's my question.
Yes, we frame it in another way. When some of these bandits, when they decide to accept peace, what should be the position? I think they want reconciliation, and you also said there's room for reconciliation. What should be the way forward, or what should be our position and attitude towards it as Muslims? Yes, the next question.
Thank you. Sir, to understand, you changed my opinion about Professor Gumi, because I am one of the people who believe that Professor Gumi should be tried. To me, I believe he should be tried because I believe he's supporting these people. But for the left, we need to change my opinion. But the question now is, why did the government of Saudi Arabia rejected him when he wanted to perform lesser acts? Thank you.
It's not the ambassador of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I hope the question. Yeah, any other question? The other side. I powerfully recognize my immediate past president, my predecessor in office, Alhaji Abdulhakeem Mariago, and the bossa of Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies, Iraqi. I can see Professor Lawale, the librarian of Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies, Iraqi. You are welcome. Please stand up and wave. Let us have it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Yeah. Now we allow the guest lecturer to. I think this microphone is sharp.
I have about 10 questions here. Only, and I expect that. I want to start by letting us realize that the question of security in Nigeria is a complex one. And it's multifaceted, multidimensional. So when we are making our recommendations, it will be difficult to give recommendations that will address each of the phases of the security challenges. Having said that, I want to take us to page 26 of the book which must have been distributed to us. Immediately after the Arabic quotation, the verse there is this sentence that begins with the variable of responsibility. Are we all there? In this topic of today's lecture becomes apposite here as Muslims too, either as individuals or as a community, are under obligation to ensure security, peace, and order in this society by also providing their children and workers with necessary education and skill that will make them have decent means of livelihood so as not to be available for easy recruitment into violent, misguided groups like Boko Haram. So those that are asking for I asked the question here asking for what is the role of the parents, what are the roles of the teachers, what are the roles of imams. I think that sentence addresses that. And I think I also mentioned it in my presentation, that we have responsibilities, a collective one, on the part of all of us, to whatever capacity we are as Muslims, either as teachers, either as parents, either as organizations, either as leaders, we have a responsibility. And that's why I put the number of verses. That's on the second page of that book. There we are, the first quotation there. That Muslims are the best community raised for human beings, humankind. So when we consider, when we put all of this together, in whatever capacity you want to know the role of either as teachers or preachers or imams or parents or what have you, you have them embedded in all these verses of the Holy Quran, which has challenged us as Muslims as the best of humanity and giving it to us as a collective responsibility. That addresses the question of rules for parents, rules for organizations, rules for whatever. Then there is this question of crimes going up during elections or when elections are coming up. Any link between these two? Well, for me, I think there are drivers of crimes in our society. For example, people will tell you when it is about the new year, there will be much more kidnapping of children or people, for people who renew their wealth. It's not necessarily about when elections are coming up. So for every crime, there are drivers. There are things that motivate every crime. People will say when they are printing new notes, I think I heard it too, when they were printing new notes, the Nigerian notes, they said the kidnapping was also on the rise at that time because people will have to go and renew their wealth and what have you. So the crime rate, increase in crime rate is not necessarily about period of election. If you want us to start talking about politicians giving hands to political talks about that time, we are going into another security challenge entirely from what we are facing now. So there are drivers of political security challenges. There is this question as to what is the response of Muslims to that's the question by Professor, my brother from former Professor Derek, yes sir. You can speak up and you must also speak up as a virtue in Islam. The Quran says, whoever sees an abomination, something that is not palatable. And the Quran is not specific about you as an individual, it's about the society. So when it affects Muslims directly too, you must necessarily speak up. But Islam has put conditions as to the way you speak up. If you are able to speak with your hand, the yadi, do it, write petitions. But when you are incapacitated to do that with your mouth. Speak up. That is the position of the Quran. If you are in a position that you know that will be dangerous, then condemn it with your mind. Pray about it, hoping that a time will come when you will be able to speak up against it. This is the position of Islam. So Islam is not against Muslims speaking up against what is undesirable in the society. In fact, Islam recommends that Muslims should speak up. We are the best of community ever raised for humankind. I think the other question that is different from all others is the one talking about betrayal of trust, which my brother interpreted as we want to say that, okay, integrate them. Who are you to say that they must pay for their crimes? So for me, from the perspective, and that is what the aspect of the lecture talking about reconciliation, peace building. over again. Let's absorb them into the society. But what government has to do is to check them, to know that they are truly repented. Why are we admitting people that have been sent to prison back into our society? Killers, thieves, people who stole our money, we celebrate them. Because the Western world has said yes, absorb them back into the society. The killer, somebody who killed somebody and been sent to jail. Somebody, the government will then come and say they have granted him amnesty, pardon, and be welcomed back into the society and nobody talks. Allah is wiser. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We thank guest lecturer for his response on our responses. Before we, there is something about framing among the journalists. We don't want anybody to leave this place and frame what he has said wrongly. Because I know laughter can come as a headline. So the journalists are already smiling at me. Yeah, I'm a scholar in that regard as well, so I understand the way it's done. Now, what he concluded with when he was talking about reconciliation, I want us to take note. When they voluntarily repent before they are caught, we can admit them back into the society. Probably after the necessary rehabilitation and some other steps need to be taken before that is done. And he said something again, not after when they are caught. Not after when they are caught. So if anybody comes with any wicked headline, we are going to write the agendas. Now, we move to the next thing on the agenda. We are not going to take it's very, very important, and that is why we salute our chairman to handle it, and that is donations. So I don't want to say any other thing. He knows how to present his case himself. We invite our chairman, Professor Sirajudeen Bankole. I think it's an exam here. The guest lecturer is an exam. It's a exam. Okay. We normally say by sea and then say by water. But I don't know whether you know this one. We will say Ladoda Tebatu Tebe. Tekbir, Atekbir. Now you see, because I have that one from my brother. Because I know what will give me when I wear a brother will be much more bigger than what will give me when I'm just wearing Olete Lafa, what do they call it? Okay, let me say thank you very much to two individuals on the high table. Our Professor Noibi. I don't confuse Professor Noibi emeritus with Professor Mubarak Noibi because the distinguishing term is there, emeritus Professor Noibi. Yoruba says, Tomadu Baba Tom, you Baba Baba was also the chairman of the UI Muslim community in 1986, 35 years ago. And that time, he was carrying that job alongside being the chief man of the community. So it was a heavy load, and God lightened it for him. It is the job that they have done that we are trying to continue.
May God continue to keep Baba, protect Baba, and protect him upon goodness. Now let me also go to our next lecturer. What I know from this lecture is that Islam is not the source of insecurity, but Muslims are. Okay? Minority. Some people say that among believers, they say that if they know Muslims before Islam, they probably will not have taken Islam as their religion. Okay, so, and this issue of reconciliation, Jensen was reminding me of somebody who said something. He said Putin, I don't know where it's Putin. He said his own, to forgive terrorism, that is left to God. But to send terrorists to God, is his own job. So the law is the same crime that you are committing that the law sees as a crime, but God sees as what? A sin. So God forgives sin, but the law will punish crime. So that's just to add to the what Professor Dr. Banu said in terms of the headline that will come out of there. Now let me go to my job profile, which is donations. The reason why I'm being asked to lead this, because I'm still going to ask the chairman, I'm going to give him the mic to be a co-leader in terms of raising funds for the community. But my own role really is to tell you that we don't want you to give us donation in a vacuum. We should tell you our needs, and they are plenty. In fact, every day, they continue to mount. While we are looking for money to resolve one, another one will add on to it. And we have been on this for almost 5-10 years. This is that we are in. We started it ourselves, and then Good Samaritans, philanthropists started giving us money. But we still have upstairs. In the last 5 years that we started using here, we have not been able to raise cover to complete the building. So when we say Musa Abdul Security Center, it is one quarter completed. So that is one of the things that we need donations for. The mosque that is standing there is still carrying its first phase, which, and each time we try to raise money to paint it, okay, before we are able to raise the money, the cost then moves on. And that's where we are. Now we are using other strategies. But that mosque painting now is going to cost us nothing less than 50 million naira. Now, we have a cost to celebrate. If you look at the back there, we have a building going on there. That building is costing us 60 million, donated by an anonymous friend of our vice chairman of Muslim community. One person single-handedly is donating 60 million to build that library. And we pray that Allah will continue to replenish his pockets. Now, if you notice on Fridays, I'm already now pray outside, not all of them, because they spill over. The prayer area that was created for them cannot contain them all. So now they pray under the tree. And the rains will soon be here. And we have been trying to raise money to do a vertical extension of the Action Center, male Action Center, so that we can create space for women to pray. And that place is going to cost us 140 million to do that alone. Now I'm just telling you the kind of problems that we have when it comes to financing. Now, the concrete surrounding the mosque was done with cement. And once it's rainy season, they become green. So we are planning to use terrazzo to beautify it and ensure that people also pray there. Those when we have spillovers on Fridays, because on Fridays we have almost 3,000 worshippers who come to pray here, and we must provide water for them, provide the prayer area for them. And that terrazzo work will cost 25 million. This Islamic center, the up here that I talked about, 4 years ago, we went to see a landlord somewhere, very far place, and the budget we took there was for 3 million. Today, it will cost 107 million to complete it. So I'm not scaring you. I just want you to understand the kind of things we have on our hands. Now we have a land that the investment that gave us to construct a befitting quarters to achieve demand. If you look at Chapel, if you look at this other one, the Catholic one, they have good houses for their chaplain. Our man does not have anything that looks like that. In fact, what we call the man's quarters now, the day I went there, I was asking him, why did he move into it? Because the one he has in time is better than what he's living. But he has to be there so that he will do his job as a chief man. That one is not costed yet, but we will give you that. We have a land that's happened there, about 2.1 hectares of land, which the government allocated to us. How many years ago? Long time ago now. We are not able to do anything on it. And we are planning a hostel for Muslim students. So these are some of the things that we have to do. So now the ball is in the course of our chairman. I'm saying what I've said because I'm the chief marketing officer of the UI Muslim community. We go around to look for money. We collect money every Friday. The Muslim staff, every month we check out some amount from their salary. Okay? The last time I asked, just 600,000 times 300,000. Okay, every month. And before you even collect that money, the pipes are bad. Alright? We are doing some, like this thing, this book that we are publishing from some of this money. So that's why we are asking for donation. And let me tell you something. In this community, the man was not collect cover. No member of the community executive council collects cover. It has been like that since the time of emeritus, and it's just like that. It's still like that, and I believe that it's going to be like we're going to see it as working fee settling that. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, sir, engineer, sir, time for donation. So you are going to lead the actual collecting of the money, sir. My job is almost done, but I will stand by your side to give you moral support.
Well, I'm not prepared for this assignment, so
Prof, I said I'm not prepared for this assignment. And you are not giving me proper tools maybe to discharge this assignment. If I have some names here now, maybe I'll be able to navigate that. Because I recollect really, I asked the planning committee chairman, now what exactly will be my role today? So I asked him. But still at that, I don't know where to start. But I want to say that from myself and the people I came with, we are starting with 2 million.
So our chairman has voted 2 million naira. That's a very, very good start. We have some declaration from the SSG, but that's what we cannot announce. Now, almost everybody that we expect declaration from on the high table has granted through our chairman. So we go to the floor. We go to the floor. We start by the way people are seated. This is about that everyone said
As a retired person, I donate 5,000 naira. Thank you, Bill. Yeah.
Let me go to our professors. My former vice chairman is looking at me. He's looking at me. Let me have a picture. Our professors. I learned that you are the Kabbalite. Who's going to support our chairman here? Please take the trays around for those who want to donate some money. Take the tray around, please take it around. No amount is too small. The UN Muslim Community account has been projected. It's been projected. That's it on the screen. So you can also transfer it to the account. We are still on donation, please. We are trying to ensure that we live here to go and pray at 1:30 because that's when we do our Zoom in UIMC. Those people carrying through around, are they done? So that we can go on to the next item of the program. Our president, Emeritus Professor Musliuddin Oluwude has pledged 50,000 naira. Thank you. So I also joined him. I pledged 50,000 naira. Thank you. Okay, my former chairman, vice chairman, joined me. 50,000 naira. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I think we can move on to the next program.
The program is still on. The fact that you have given us your own donation does not mean you should leave. Now, the donation is a continuous exercise. The account details of the community is projected on the screen. If you do not have it now, you can write it down and send donations to us later. Now, we move to the next thing, which is goodwill message. And because the time of Solar is fast approaching, here at the University of Ibadan, Central Mosque, we pray at 1:30 p.m. We'd like to have a few words from our father, Professor D.O.S. Noidi, before we continue the program.
الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. First, I wish to join the University of Ibadan Muslim community in giving thanks to Almighty Allah for enabling us to hold the Ramadan lecture this year. We believe firmly in the fact that, as Allah Himself has said, لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you give thanks for whatever I have done for you, I will give you even more. May we all be among those that will receive more blessings from Almighty Allah. I also wish to thank our chairman of the occasion and the guest speaker for their contribution to the success of what we have gathered ourselves here for today. But I also want to quickly remind us of something that the chairman said in his opening remark. He made reference to challenges facing the Muslim community worldwide, globally, that we should not forget them at least in our prayers. And as the guest speaker advised at the end of his lecture, we have a duty to ourselves as Nigerian Muslims and as Muslims, our brothers and sisters of other Muslims around the world, to do whatever we can, even if we just wishing them well. Those of our brothers and sisters that are facing difficulties in places like Gaza and Iran, may Almighty Allah protect them and give them victory. But that also quickly relates to what the guest speaker said earlier on about how it is that most of those who are responsible for insecurity in Nigeria happen to be Muslims. But we should not forget that most of these groups have been sponsored by the enemies of Islam from outside of Nigeria. So, whilst we're working hard to carry out our responsibilities as the lecturer has advised us, we should also not forget that we should have to pray to Almighty Allah to protect us from external enemies. I recall as the Executive Secretary of Muslim, we discovered that many people who were not Muslims pretended to be Muslims and attacked churches in this country. But the reports put the responsibilities on Muslims. So as we try to carry out our responsibilities and avoid evil, let us be conscious of the fact that those external enemies are there. Let us pray to Almighty Allah to protect us our need. I wish to thank all that have come here today, elders, the young people, the officials, as well as our friends from outside of the campus. The Almighty Allah reward you all abundantly, not only for your coming, but for contributing financially to the progress of our community here. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are gradually winding down, and I will call on the Vice Chairman of the community, Prof. Professor Yunusa Raji to give the vote of thanks.
Assalamualaikum. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. We planned the program, and Almighty Allah has disposed it in the best way for us. We want to thank Almighty Allah for disposing this program, in that best way. I want to extend our thanks first and foremost to our Baba, Professor D.O.S. Noibi. We are so grateful to have you here today. We are so grateful to have words of wisdom from you. Indeed, I cannot simply conclude that my aspect of the program has been well concluded by you. Thank you so much. I really from him, I want to extend our appreciation to all members of the ITV. We are so grateful to have all of you. The chairman is no longer here. The guest lecturer is also not here. But if indeed, by the pre-lecture comments, and they are surely testimonies to the fact that the lecture had been properly delivered. So we thank him most sincerely for doing justice to the topic that he has delivered. We may, regardless of the publicity secretary's propaganda and publicity, if people will not come, they will not come. If we have all the eminent personalities from the ITV, and officials of the UI Muslim community are here, and we don't have people in the audience, it's a colossal feeling that we have all of you here today attending this program and participating in this program. We are deeply grateful. Thank you so much. And finally, those people that keep our surroundings clean, the security men around our mosque, and indeed, the security unit of our students, Muslim Student Society, they have done beautifully well today in this program. We extend our appreciation to all of you. May Almighty Allah continue to bless each and every one of us. We say finally, Jazakumullahu khairan.
Thank you so much for thanking all of us. We move to the last thing on the agenda, and that is the closing dua, which will be done by the assistant imam of this community, Dr. Cousin Mokweo.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We give thanks to Almighty Allah who has led us to this far. It calls for gratitude. Since last year, we had a similar program last year. From that last year to this moment, it is only Almighty Allah that accounts for the water that has passed under the bridge. We have to continue to be with us. The Almighty Allah count us among those people that are listening to the words of Almighty Allah and made best use of it. Allahumma ij'alna min alladhina yastami'una al-qawla fayattabi'una ahsanahu. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين يا الله آمين فيكون آمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله
عليه wasallam. So we see you when next we call you. I remain Idris Olabode, Secretary of this community.